Happy Friday, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Breaking and Entering podcast. Kind of annoyed today. My damn Washington Capitals, they lost in 5 games to the Hurricanes. But today we're going to get into the schedule release. We're going to talk about my Commanders and Brandon's Ravens. But before we do that, Brandon, how we doing today, man?
I'm doing good. At least your hockey team is better than my baseball team. I don't even want to get started on the
Oh,
Orioles.
good. Yeah, I heard. I haven't heard
like,
good.
like you used to call them the nose. That's what they went back to, the nose.
I feel you, man. Let's get started with this opening drive, shall we?
All right, everyone. Dak Prescott, he has a new weapon for his team after the Cowboys acquired George Pickens from the Steelers. Saints quarterback Derek Carr, he's decided to retire after 11 seasons in the NFL. Bengals defensive end Trey Hendrickson said early this week he will not play under his current contract. It will pay him around $15 million for next season. The Colts and possibly the Chargers, they've issued an apology after their schedule release video made fun of Tyreek Hill's police encounters. Bears quarterback Caleb Williams, he apparently tried to avoid being drafted by Chicago. That's according to ESPN in a new book that's being released later this summer. And lots of Ravens moves lately. Safety of Darius Washington, he's out for the season with torn Achilles. Team also extended running back Derrick Henry. I think he's the highest paid running back over the age of 30 years old. And of course, team released longtime kicker Justin Tucker, who was undrafted in 2012, the year we last appeared in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, before we get moving on that, quick notes for me on the Caleb Williams to the Bears thing. I wonder how the Bears fans are going to react to that. In my opinion, Caleb definitely had, something to be nervous or worried about just because how last season unfolded. Heard some stuff about like he didn't know how to watch film and no one was like around to show him that like it's not really good for your quarterback development if nobody's helping him out learning how to do things so he get better at his job. It's kind of strange to me. And then definitely the Trey Hendrickson news. I was reading into that as well. Saw the video. He put a statement out while they're at like mini camp or something. I think they said he would have got fined if he missed a mini camp. So starting to look personal there. I guess they don't have any money left. They signed Jamar Chase to a big contract. They want to get T. Higgins too. But like I was talking about last year, Trey Hendrickson, my opinion, is like the only pass rusher that they had that was really good. I know you told me about Sam Hubbard, I think his name is. I think he's all right too, but Trey Hendrickson is like the guy most people are concerned with. And when he's out, it doesn't seem like there's much of an effect on that pass rush, in my opinion. I hope that if he doesn't work out the Bengals Commanders, hey, I mean, we got some money for him. Let's get him on the field for us. That would be great, in my opinion.
Yeah, Cincinnati trade him anywhere but Kansas City. To piggyback off of that right there, I honestly think he'll be back. I think T. Higgins requested a trade around this time last year, and he got an extension. They just got to find some money, figure it all out as far as financial terms goes. And then to the Bears situation with Caleb Williams, real quick, I agree. I think the I guess the worst part about it could be the fact that Ben Johnson just got there, and usually when you get a rookie head coach, obviously they didn't do it this year, but usually in time, especially an offensive guy, they go get their quarterback. So even though he was first overall last year, only played 1 year, played decent, had a terrible offensive line, but that's just common around the NFL. Those rookie head coaches go and get their guy, whether it's through the draft or free agency, that they feel like they're most comfortable with. So yeah, like you said, it'll be interesting to see how the fans receive him at training camp and the first game there at Soldier Field. Definitely something to watch later this summer.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, fresh off a 12-5 record in the NFC Championship appearance, Ed's Commanders, they'll play in front of the home crowd 9 times in 2025. Ed, what was going through your mind after seeing the schedule?
You was texting me. You was probably saying y'all gonna get a bunch of more primetime games, and boy, you were not lying, man. I think we had 3 primetime games at home this year. I think they're saying that we're gonna play in 10 non 1 p.m. games this season. That's 3 more than last season, the most since 2001. Um, we're playing 7 non-division opponents who recorded 10 plus wins last season, including Philadelphia. Good Lord, I'm looking forward to placing them twice. So, man, I mean, we got a lot to do in this thing. We got 5 primetime games this season, man. 5 primetime games. They're going to. We got to play in Spain. First game, that first ever regular season Spain game will be in Madrid against the Dolphins. So I hope we're ready, man. We got to go against the AFC West and the NFC North. I know there's a couple of teams in the NFC North, particularly the Bears and the Lions, that are probably, licking their lips, looking at us on the schedule because they want to get some revenge. Everybody remembers the Hail Mary game the Bears had against us. We beat them on that last Hail Mary play. And then the Lions, I know they want to get their lick back for getting whooped in the playoffs last year. So, man, I'm just thinking about we got the Giants first. I told you I was texting about that. I was like, I feel like they're gonna go after Abdul Carter. I'm concerned about that D line, man. Brian Burns. I know Kayvon Thibodeau, they're kind of like iffy on him, but every time he plays the Commanders, like I said, he turns into Lawrence Taylor, prime LT. I mean, he had like 8 sacks against us in 2 games. I'm not even kidding. So I'm kind of concerned about that D line. Hopefully our offensive line, we drafted the O line in the draft first round this year. We got Laramie Tunsil over in free agency. So I'm hoping, we do good things. But overall, man, I'm just confident in the player development, new regime we brought in. So I'm hoping Jaden Daniels, either he continues to play the same or he takes a leap. I'm leaning more towards taking a leap, but if he plays the same, I think we'll be in good standing. I think the defense, I'm hoping guys like Mike Sarenstill, he gets better or at least plays with that same confidence he had against the Lions. Um, guys like I'm forgetting my freaking linebacker name that we brought over. But I hope guys like him, he gets better. Just hope the defense stays intact. I hope Dan Quinn. They're saying he has an 11-7 record in primetime games. So hopefully we have these primetime games. We don't get blown off the map like we were texting. We were talking about. I was talking about Joe Gibbs, and when we had primetime games against him, I'm never going to forget the Patriots putting an absolute beating on us. I think the score was like 52-3. They had a shot of Joe Gibbs is licking off. He just licking off, and then they go over to Bill Belichick. It looks like he's mean mugging him or something. So oh Lord, I'm hoping nothing like that happens. But yeah, man, that's what it is. We played 8 nationally televised games this season, 5 more than last season, 8. So we're gonna be on TV a lot. Jaden Daniels, we got to go against the damn Chiefs in Kansas City. Oh my God! I mean, Denver Broncos. I mean, they looked really good last year with the Bo Nix addition. And then that defense, they picked up some guys on the defense side of the ball, the old safety from the 49ers. So I'm sure that defense is going to be hell bent going against people this year. So man, I just don't know. I mean, the AFC West and the NFC North, my opinion, the 2 toughest damn divisions in football, and we gotta play both of them. I'm like, good Lord, Green Bay, I think is gonna be all right. Detroit, I think they're gonna be okay. Writing still on the wall about Chicago, Minnesota, but I'm expecting them to be better. Minnesota, I gotta see. I gotta see how they look with JJ McCarthy, but I don't know, man. Bye week, week 12 bye week. I feel like that'll be good for us. So when we'll have some rest going down the stretch. It is going to be after we come back from Spain, though, so we'll see. And then I'm looking at some notes that were put together by the Washington Commanders. Where's those notes I saw? I think we're playing against like 4 or 5 teams coming off a bye. So we're going to have a bunch of teams that are going to have rest when we're playing against them. But it is interesting. They did say that teams coming off a bye last year had a under 500 record, so we'll see. But that's something I am kind of concerned about as well. So overall, man, AFC West, NFC North, I'm kind of like on the fence about it. Like, damn, we really got a hard schedule, but I do think I have confidence and faith in my team, especially Jaden Daniels, as long as people stay healthy, key guys stay healthy. Hopefully we hit it big with a couple of guys in the draft, particularly these first 2 picks, our O lineman and our cornerback in the second round. We can do some things out there. I don't know if we'll be 12-5 again, but I hope at least we get 10 wins. I hope we can beat the Philadelphia Eagles at least once. It'd be great to beat them in heartbreaking fashion again. Basically game-winning touchdown. That would be great. And please sweep the Cowboys. Come on, please sweep the Cowboys. I mean, they got George Pickens now. They got CD and George Pickens. So I mean, I don't know, man. I'm kind of like, oh Lord, this is gonna be a tough schedule, but I do have faith in my team. So we'll see what happens. You got any thoughts on our Commander schedule though?
Yeah, so y'all have one of the better bye weeks that the NFL offers. Week 12, as you mentioned, is late November after most of your schedule is behind you. That's honestly one of the best options that you can have, and it's in the middle of a 4 game homestand too, so that's even more beneficial for y'all as well. But out of the gates, I think the two most threatening games, at least in the first half of the season, week 2 at Green Bay and week 8 at Arrowhead. You mentioned Kansas City, two playoff teams, of course. Kansas City coming off a Super Bowl appearance that are going to be likely back in the mix. You mentioned they play in two of the better divisions in football. But if y'all get on a slide, I think it'll be between weeks 9 and 13. Some of the guys that'll be coming in Northwest Stadium. This is, I think, in that 4 game homestand is Seattle. Of course, JSN out there. He's going to be the top receiver out there in Seattle. I'm sure if him and Sam Darnold's on the stride, they're going to give y'all some fits. Detroit, Jared Goff, J-Mo, Amon-Ra St. Brown. We saw them got loose a little bit in the playoff game against y'all. And as you mentioned, they probably be want to get a little bit of revenge on y'all. Miami, we all know how efficient Tua is. Jalen Waddle, Tyreek Hill, those guys can get behind the defenders in a heartbeat. And Denver, just all around great roster. You mentioned how they added some guys on defense. The offense was already there. They drafted a running back pretty high as well. And then y'all got Philly and Dallas in your final 3 games. We know how good Philly is. Y'all split the series last year. Of course, the playoff loss in the NFC Championship was more of a blowout. But Dallas, they've given y'all fits lately. I think last year we all expected them to beat y'all. We all expected y'all to beat them later in the season, and it kind of came down to the wire. If I'm not mistaken, it was either right at the end of regulation or went into overtime. I was on a cruise, so I can't remember exactly. But overall, I think I'm gonna give y'all 10-7 right now. Just those games against Kansas City, Detroit, the Chargers, and Denver. No joke, man. Those 3 teams there in the AFC West, and then of course, even the Raiders.
Yeah.
Got a new head coach, Pete Carroll. They got that running back man out of Boise State, Ashton Genty, I think his name is. I think he's going to be probably offensive rookie of the year. So yeah, good luck. Good luck
Yeah,
for
right.
sure.
Appreciate it. And I
Yep.
just Frankie Louvu, who's I was talking about. Frankie Louvu, Bobby
Okay.
Wagner, too. Those are the linebackers I was talking about. Bobby Wagner, I think you know how I feel about him, but Frankie Louvu, hopefully, he continues to play well like he did last year too. Those are the 2 guys I was talking about. But all right, that's the Washington Commanders. Let's get into the Baltimore Ravens. Interested to see how you feel about you guys' schedule, man.
So thank you to the National Football League for not scheduling us to play on Christmas for the 3rd straight year. But they dealt us a card. It said Thanksgiving on it. At home for Cincinnati. Probably our toughest matchup. Um, Definitely in the division outside of Kansas City in the conference. I think it'll be the best Thanksgiving game for non-Baltimore fans that don't want to have their blood pressure up high like me. Because you got Green Bay at Detroit. I mean, that'll be a decent game. The first one, Kansas City at Dallas. We don't know what Dallas is going to look like, but those 2 games against Cincinnati last year came down to the wire. We've been really good against Joe Burrow, but we know that all their guys are back pretty much on offense. I know you said that you don't too much think that their defense is going to improve, but I think they got to get better than what they were. Okay. So I'm expecting a little bit more push from there on Thanksgiving. And the last time we played on Thanksgiving at home, it was against the Steelers when Mike Tomlin decided he didn't know what his sideline was, and Jacoby Jones was running back a kick into a punt into the end zone, and of course he had to veer back to his right and got caught. But that's in the past. But overall, we got to start faster than what we did last year. That was 0-2 last year. Won't be easy this year either. Our first 4 games at Buffalo, Sunday Night Football, home for Cleveland, home for Detroit, Monday Night Football, and at Kansas City. Um, Honestly, think we'll split those games down with losses against Buffalo and Kansas City. Even though Buffalo we played them good last year in the regular season. I think the playoff game last year was more so we gave them the game, and that's not being biased. We all saw the mistakes that we did on our end. It wasn't more so that they beat us; it was that we beat ourselves. Um, but we've been good against the Lions as well, so that's why I think we can get a win there at home on Monday Night Football against the Lions. October open up against Houston and the Rams at home. The Rams are going to be tough. I think they're one of the NFC's top rosters going into 2025. You bring in Devontae Adams. You still got Matthew Stafford, Puka Nakua out there. You got the running back Williams. That defense was young and up and coming last year. That should be a good one. Houston, not too much worried about them. I think they got some offensive line issues they got to fix. The wide receiver core is a little bit reshuffled right now. Don't know if I think it's Tank Dell. I think was the one that got injured, banged up last year. He's going to be back 100%, but we'll see. Um, and the day before Halloween, we got to go down to South Beach. It's going to be a long night. Matchup with two. I think that is Thursday night football, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see. Yeah, Miami Thursday night football. We all know they had an offensive explosion last time they played us. Tua put up 6 touchdowns. They came back from like 21 down in the fourth quarter, if not more than that, to beat us. Um, we got to focus on stopping that pass game, man. They also got a pretty good pass rush down there as well, so that's something to look out for. I think we got 3 winnable games at Minnesota, at the Browns, and home for the Jets in November before that Thanksgiving showdown with Cincinnati. Um, and I think we could win that home game. We got the Patriots there, December 21st. I'm not too worried about them, even though a lot of people in the media are high on Drake May and who's the coach, Mike Vrabel. They think that he's going to turn it around in year one. Honestly, I think Drake May is going to take a little bit of step back because he's changing offensive coordinators. We know that rookie to second year. I always talk about it all the time. Even though it's Josh McDaniels, he has history there. He was really good with Tom Brady. It's still transition from somebody else that was in his ear from last year. We got the Frozen Tundra Week 17 with the Packers. I really want to go to that game. It's a historic stadium. I know it's going to be cold out there. It's going to be a good challenge for us ahead of potentially the playoffs again in places like Buffalo and Kansas City that we play at a lot in January. And then the Steelers should close out the season. Always a good game against the Steelers, man. 4 primetime games this year. I really don't like any, as I told you. I say that all the time. I'd rather just play at 1 o'clock, get it done and over with. I'm looking forward to that Thanksgiving game the most because that, again, those games against Cincinnati, always box office. Joe Burrow and Lamar Jackson out there. So before I give my overall prediction, just a few things. No team has ever won the AFC North 3 years in a row. We're going to try that this year. We've never won 3 straight road games. As I mentioned, we got the Dolphins late October at Minnesota US Bank Stadium and at Cleveland at Huntington Bank Field there late October, early November. We'll see if we can set history with that in our own franchise. We do, though, have the best record on Sunday Night Football, a 67% win percentage. And, of course, we open Sunday Night Football at the Bills unless any other games are flexed in there. Only one on Sunday night. I will have my TV on mute, though, because don't nobody want to hear no Chris Collinsworth. For real, for real. But the next closest win percentage on Sunday Night Football is Green Bay at just about 60%. And that could possibly be a Sunday Night Football 2 game, Week 17, because they haven't put a time or day on that game. And then back to Kansas City. We haven't beat them on the road there since 2012. That was the last time we won the Super Bowl. Lamar Jackson 0-3 at Arrowhead. Of course, last year, the toe game, even though the fact that we still would have had to kick the extra point and possibly go to overtime. That's why I don't consider we lost that as a toe. I think we lost more than by a toe. But that's in the past. So overall, I'm gonna go 12-5. I'm not being biased. I think our toughest challenges are Kansas City, the Rams, Cincinnati, Pittsburgh, and Cleveland. Of course, all of our division rivals. But again, the Rams, I think, are going to be probably the best team or one of the best teams in the National Football Conference. And Kansas City, year in and year out, of course, we all know, always a good team. What are your thoughts on the Ravens' schedule?
Yeah, I know you were happy to hear or see that you guys had less primetime games, like you mentioned. That
definitely.
Chiefs games I'm really looking forward to. You guys are at the Chiefs. I think I saw from you guys' website that you haven't won a game there since like 2012. You're 0-3 in that stadium. I think this might be the year. I mean, it's a regular season game, so I know in the playoffs, y'all usually, no offense, y'all usually make some mental mistakes, bonehead mistakes that cost you games. Hopefully that doesn't happen this time around. I think then y'all played them to open up the season last year, and it went down
Yep.
to the wire. Some BS happened, so I feel like y'all are biting at the bits to get them. I think y'all will win that game and beat them for the first time in Kansas City since 2012. We'll see that Bills game. That's definitely interesting one to me. Can't wait to see that one. That's going to be on Peacock. Everyone streaming on there. I think the Bills. Saw something that they're like the favorite for every game this season. So, oh Lord,
Oh wow.
yeah, I think I saw something like that on Twitter. I don't know if that's true or not, but I wouldn't put it past them. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think y'all overall, I think y'all will be good. I think y'all be competitive against everyone. Derrick Henry got his new contract, so he's gonna be happy. As long as there's no injuries, major injuries to any key guys, y'all should be good. I know Mark Andrews is definitely ready to get back on the field, especially going against Buffalo, since everyone knows what happened. The drop pass or the pass that could have been that probably could have won you guys the game, but I'm sure he's happy that he gets to play against the Bills again and do some things. I really want to see, this is more on the Brown side, but I really want to see who's going to be the quarterback when you guys play them and who's going to be the quarterback overall for the Browns. Is it going to be Dylan Gabriel? Is it going to be Shador? Is it going to be Joe Flacco? Really interested to see how that's going to go. But yeah, games looking forward to y'all. Definitely those Bengals games. Steelers games too. Is Aaron Rodgers going to be the quarterback? Is it going to be Helmet Boy, Mason Rudolph? Who's going to be the quarterback for the Steelers? How's DK Metcalf going to look? Is he going to snap? Because he has a personality too. So I want to see how that goes. If he's going to get frustrated if the quarterback does stink and he's not getting the production he's used to. So I don't know about that Texans game, man. I feel like I just don't know. I think the Texans, I think coming into the third year for CJ Stroud, I know there was sort of a sophomore slump for him last year. A lot of that had to do with injuries and his old line, but I'm not looking past the Texans right now. I think they're going to come out of the AFC South. I don't know if that's saying much. AFC South lately hasn't been too good besides the Texans, but I think going to come out the AFC South again, and I wouldn't be surprised if they make some noise. So that Texans game, I don't know. That might be one of those games that people sleep on them a little bit, and we'll see what happens. But we were texting earlier before we got on the air about how we both play a lot of the same teams. We both going against the NFC North. That Bears game, definitely want to see how y'all look against Caleb, and they got a new coach, Ben Johnson, so I think he's going to be a little bit better than what they had last year, but we'll see how that goes. And then Lions, Green Bay as well. Definitely looking forward to those games for you guys too. Vikings too, but like I said, mentioned to my team, how's JJ McCarthy going to look out there? I don't know, but as long as they got Jay Jettis, Justin Jefferson, they'll always have a chance, in my opinion. And that defense was really good last year. I'm pretty sure they're going to be the same. I doubt they'll have any drop off with the defense. They might be even better. But yeah, overall, I agree with you. I definitely see you guys going 12-5, at least 11 games, in my opinion, that you guys win. And I'm booking it now. I think y'all will beat the Chiefs. I'm booking it now. I think that will happen for you guys. But yeah, man.
Hope
Uh,
so.
yeah, I know, right? We'll definitely see what happens on that though. So said you want to get into the key matchups for the NFL season. I'm always interested to see how all the rookie quarterbacks play. So I want to see what Cam Ward looks like. And it's funny because the Titans are one of the teams that don't have any primetime games. So I'm gonna have to do some magic just to watch some of their games to see how Cam Ward looks, or at least watch some of their highlights. The Chiefs, I think we were talking about they play on Thanksgiving, they play on Christmas. I think every game almost is a primetime game for more nationally televised. So definitely gonna see
Yep.
how the Chiefs look. There's a couple of other games that I had. I can't remember. I thought I had the tab open, but there's a couple other games that I'm looking for. The Chargers. Another year with Harbaugh at the reins. Want to see how they look out there. Justin Herbert, if he's the real deal or not. I'm kind of on the fence with him lately, so want to see how that looks. And then the Jets. How are they going to look out there with Justin Fields? He's got a 1 year deal. He's in the New York media. They're definitely going to eat him up if he stinks. So God bless him. Good luck to him out there with the Jets. Also the Giants. Jackson Dart, Russell Wilson, my boy Jameis Winston. You called him 30 for 30. I think that was hilarious. Um, Russell Wilson, he does good against the Commanders. He might have 2 wins against us if he's still playing by the time he plays us the second time. But definitely want to see how he looks against or how the Giants look out there too. Those are some of the matchups I'm looking at. There was another one. Who was it? Oh yeah, you talk about the Rams. That's another team that I'm kind of looking forward to seeing. They lost Cooper Cup. I think he went over to Seattle. But like you said, they got Devontae Adams. They had issues with the O line last year. They got him back towards the end of the season. They really took off. If that O line can remain intact and healthy, like you said, the running back they got, Kyron Williams, is really good. I do think the Rams are going to make a bunch of noise. I think they're going to come out the NFC West. I think they're going to be better than the Niners, in my opinion. And that defense, like you said, they drafted 2 guys last year on the defensive line, Braden Fisk and I can't remember the other guy's name who won defensive.
Jared Verse.
Yeah, Jared Verse. I think he won
Yep.
defensive of the year. They pretty much transformed that defensive line, and that defense is nothing to play with. So really interested to see how the Rams look out there. Those matchups against the Niners are going to be a little bit more competitive, especially without Debo out there. What's his name? Brandon Ayuk. He's still coming off the ACL injury, so we'll see if he's even ready the first, half of the season or not. And then coming off ACL injuries, it usually takes a guy like a full year just to feel for themselves. So definitely want to see how those matchups look out there. But let me come back. What key matchups are you looking forward to?
Yeah, you brought up the Giants, so I gotta bitch about them real quick. Their schedule coming out, that man, the first 9 games, bro, they could. Giants have been starting what, like 0-6 lately, last couple of years, or 1-6 or something like that. Their first 9 weeks at Washington, at Dallas, home for Kansas City, home for the Chargers, at New Orleans, home for Philadelphia, at Denver, at Philly again, and home for San Fran. They could literally only win one of those games, um, possibly at New Orleans. And that New Orleans game could possibly be a battle for the number 1 overall pick early in the season, as crazy as that sounds. Like, that's a grueling schedule, man. I don't know if Dayball's going to make it out of this season. We'll talk more about that later in the summer when we do our schedule previews. But as far as my key matchups, Eagles and Chiefs, a lot of people are calling it a Super Bowl rematch. It's week 2. It's there in Philadelphia. I believe it's a primetime game. I can't remember 100%. We know that Eagles beat the hell out of them in the Super Bowl. You know, Kansas City had to do some work on that offensive line and free agency in the draft because of that. So we'll see how the Eagles' losses in free agency, coupled with both of their, with their offensive coordinator leaving, will factor up against Patrick Mahomes and a fired up Kansas City team. Patrick Mahomes don't forget nothing, so they'll be ready for that. Speaking of the Chiefs, another matchup: Broncos and Chiefs, Christmas night. We saw how these two teams battled it out last year. Mainly in the first matchup, Kansas City beat Denver on a block kick. After Denver, they had control most of that game. It was just that they could not figure out that special teams blocking scheme. How to keep that, because I think they had 2 kicks. Well, one kick early in the game was just about blocked, and the last one was blocked, if I remember correctly. And the second contest of the year was Week 18. Of course, the Chiefs starters rested, but they shut them out. So, yeah, again, Patrick Mahomes and those guys, they don't forget anything. So that'll be fun to see there Christmas night. Bengals and Broncos, Week 4 Monday Night Football. If y'all don't remember, it was an overtime game in Cincinnati late last year that kept Cincinnati's playoff games alive, playoff hopes alive. Um, who's the quarterback out there in Denver? I can't think of his name. Bo Nix and Joe Burrow put on a show that game. Like, they literally went up and down the field on each other, and Cincinnati kept picking on, I think it's Riley Moss is the number 2 corner. They would not throw in Patrick Surtain's direction. So we'll see how, Denver comes out with a defensive plan now. They did add some guys there in the secondary. to go along with a very strong defense from last year. Next up, Seattle versus Los Angeles Rams. We may not see much from Seattle this year as far as expectations go, in my opinion. But Cooper Kupp, he now plays with the Seahawks. He's going home. He's motivated. He's from the Pacific Northwest. Of course, he's to play for the Rams. That's always, fun to see when those former players leave teams that kind of let them go. I think they released him. I don't even think his contract was up. I think they released him. And then week 7, speaking of the Titans, you mentioned them. Mike Vrabel, he returns to Tennessee as the Patriots head coach. That's going to have a lot of attention as well. He was let go by the Titans a little over a year ago, so we'll see how that one goes there. He'll probably be in his stride by then. Again, I'm not expecting much from Drake May as far as second year step. He got Stephon Diggs now, but they don't to me have enough offensive talent around. I know they spent a lot of dollars in free agency. A lot of that was on the defensive side of the ball. So we'll see how it goes there. And again, any type of revenge games, I'm here for it. I can't get them. I didn't look at the entire schedule, but we all know those type of games where they're either the players going back to their former team that let them go, a coach was let go from a team like Mike Vrabel, going back to on the road to where they used to coach, stuff like that. I don't know if Pete Carroll's going to play the Seahawks this year. That'll be fun to see with him as the Raiders head coach. Just a few to name off the top. And I think if if Aaron Rodgers signs with Pittsburgh, they have the Jets this year because we play the entire AFC East. Our division does, and I feel like they were saying Pittsburgh plays. Yeah, we play Minnesota as well because they mentioned something with significance with that because I think they were linking him to that. And of course, we play. We play the North, so Pittsburgh will play Green Bay as well. I'm not sure where that is, but if Aaron Rodgers signs with the Steelers, he'll play both of his former teams this year because we got the AFC East and the NFC North. That'll be something to see.
Yeah,
for sure.
that's a good point right there. Want to mention too. This isn't a matchup, but I do want to see the Jaguars. Really want to see how Jaguars utilize Travis Hunter. I think they're saying they're going to start him out on a wide receiver side of the ball, but I want to see if they use him a lot as a DB as well. So looking forward to watching a couple of those games, or at least checking out some highlights of the Jaguars too. And I want to see how the Cowboys honestly look against everyone. America's team a little bit. I know. Want to see how they look against the Eagles. Hopefully they can bounce some games off each other. One team wins one, the other team wins another. That'd be great to see. But I want to see how the Cowboys look. If Dak is going to be, back to 100%, he's fully healthy. Is he going to blow some games, or is he going to make some things happen? Now he got George Pickens. He got a few weapons on the offensive side of the ball. Got to see how that rookie running back, I think his name's Jaden Blue, looks out there. As I'm still not sold on their running game and in their defense as well. If they can stop the run or stop anything on the defense side of the ball, that would be interesting to see. Always looking forward to that. And then I'm looking at the Lions at the Bengals. I think that might be a high scoring game. That's going to be week 5. Those teams play each other. Looking forward to that one as well. So definitely Lions at the Bengals. A matchup I'm looking forward to. I think that'll be a high scoring affair. I could be wrong, but we'll see what happens. Before we go, like you mentioned earlier in the opening drive, some bonehead moves. I want to give it to the Colts and the Chargers for messing up their, schedule release videos and then having to delete them. Specifically, the Colts copyright infringement with the Minecraft thing. That's a Microsoft product violating their intellectual property or IP, however you want to call it. So definitely going to give a bonehead move to the Colts, more specifically, and then a little bit to the Chargers too for their schedule release videos that they deleted. I guess they felt bad for making fun of Tyreek Hill or something and apologizing to him. And then he gonna come out and say, "I thought it was funny. Y'all should have kept it up." So yeah, y'all got my bonehead moves for that.
I don't think I necessarily have a new one, but I'll go back to my lifetime achievement one from earlier this off season with Mr. Khan, the Jaguars owner, and we wonder why they continue to be. Besides a couple years ago when they won the AFC South, we wonder why they continue to be one of the bottom teams in the NFL. He goes on and fires Doug Peterson. We all do. That was basically needed. You
Hmm.
have a virtual press conference with yourself and the general manager at that time, Trent Bullock. I think that's how you pronounce his name. And then about after they hired Liam Cohen from the Bucks, the former Bucks offensive coordinator, a couple weeks later you go and fire your defensive coordinator, and then you go and hire this young guy from, like I said, was it Joey Gladstone from Full House? James Gladstone is his name. You go and hire him, and yeah, I think it was I think it was the way that the trade with the Browns, how they ended up getting Travis Hunter, as you mentioned.
Yeah.
They said that the Browns basically punked them on compensation because of what they got back. What the Jaguars gave up to go up to number two. They was like, you could tell he was a rookie GM, a young guy. Like everybody on NFL Network was saying that. So yeah, my bonehead offensive uh bonehead offseason move, it's a lifetime achievement award for the entire Jaguars front office. Clowns.
There it is.
All right, everyone. That's going to do it for this schedule release recap show of the B&E podcast. Please take a moment to hit the subscribe button on your screen. Follow us on X, formerly known as Twitter, at Podcast B&E, on IG at B&E Podcast. We'll be back later this summer. We're going to break down each division, make our playoff predictions, Super Bowl 60 predictions, and we'll who we think will hear their names called at the next NFL honors in February of 2026. Can't wait for the season to start. It's right around the corner. As Ed mentioned earlier, some OTAs are going on, mandatory mini camps, all that kind of stuff. The fun is getting started. And before we know it, it'll be August and September, and we'll see some prime preseason games and some regular season games. The rookies in their first games, all their first game jitters and all that kind of stuff right around the corner. So everyone, until next time, love one another.